Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. Alright, let's talk about Rapi Red Hood because they have released her skill kit right here on X or Twitter. As you can see, we got two pages. First things first, I want to clear up a little bit of things about whether or not you can use Rapi in Elysian Tower. The answer is yes, at least based on the patch notes right here. They have pretty much cleared that up because on the live stream it was a bit unclear. They basically make it sound like you can only use them in the new tower called the Pilgrim or Overspec Tower, but you can see right here Overspec Nikkes can be used in their corresponding manufacturer towers and the Pilgrim Overspec Tower. So manufacturing towers, their corresponding one, in this case Elysian Tower. So meaning that Rapi is going to save Elysian, most likely. Alright, she is probably going to save Elysian. She is extremely strong based upon what I've seen so far. So let's talk about it, let's jump into it. So first things first, Rapi, if you guys are not aware, she's going to be a fire type. So fire codes means that she's going to be strong against wind, right? But she also has one more element right here on the skill 2. You can briefly see she's going to be strong against electric as well. So she's one of the first characters that has that 2 elemental advantage in a way. So elemental advantage overload stats is going to be extremely valuable on her. Alright, it's so valuable on her that she might change the meta overall. She might be the first character that shift the meta a little bit in that sense. She is going to be an attacker. She's a burst 3, however you can also use her as a burst 1. So we're going to jump into the skill and talk a little bit more about that. We got 2 pages here, so let's jump into it. First things first, let's briefly look at this particular one, alright? This one is very important because it's going to give you a gauge of how much damage you can do on her normal attack. So I'm going to bring Modernia out for comparison because they are both similar machine gun fire type. So max ammo capacity 300, reload time is 2.5 seconds. So for Modernia, we have 2.3 seconds and max ammo capacity of 300. So Modernia has a little bit of faster reload time, just a little bit in terms of the damage. 7.71% of attack as damage for Modernia. But on Rapi, we have 5.57%, a little bit less. But still, both are going to do insane damage when attacking core. So keep in mind, if you're looking at the normal attack, so that's going to be that. However, let's look at the skill, right? Skill 1. This is going to be very important, alright? Activates at the start of the battle and at the end of the full burst. Effects differ according to squad formation, activates only the corresponding effect. So basically, affects self if there are no burst 1 stage allies. Combat assist, change to burst phase 1 continuously. Alright? So basically how this works is she's a little bit different than Red Hood. Red Hood in the battle, you can use her as burst 1, burst 2, burst 3. But for Rapi, it's going to check your squad formation before you enter the battle, and then if there's a burst 1 character, then your Rapi is going to be a burst 3 only. But if there's no burst 1 character, she basically changes to burst 1 phase continuously. So you cannot switch her to burst 3 in battle as far as I know, based on what they are saying right here, right in the description of the passive. Alright, so she is going to affect self if they are burst 1 stage allies. So basically what she does, affects all allies if in combat assist status when entering full burst. Cooldown of burst skill decreased by 7.48%, so she has that cooldown reduction. Very cool. Attack damage increased by 8% for 10 seconds, which is not bad, alright? So this is every time you enter full burst. Affects self if not in combat assist status when entering full burst. So again, this one only when she's burst 1, this one when she's not. Attack increased by 95% and damage to interruption parts 48%. This is decent for a burst 3. Now, is she going to replace Litter, right? Because at the end of the day, let's have a look. This is going to be when you burst her, right? So what she does is squad support actions now. When she's in burst 1, alright? So cooldown of burst skill reduced by 20 seconds. Alright, explosion radius increased by 100%. Affects all allies. 18% of casters attack for 10 seconds. Alright, this is going to be how it's going to be when you are doing her in the burst 1 status. Now, is she replacing Litter in that sense? Not really. Litter has attack increased by 66% for 5 seconds. Alright, so she still have way better, whereas Rapi is increased attack by 18% for 10 seconds. But you know, it's not even comparable, right? In that case, because the boost from Litter is still going to be significant. She can still repair cover, she can still do a few other things. So it's not going to be in the same league. But where you want to use Rapi, I believe, is going to be in Burst 3. This is where you can see she will have attack damage increase, attack increase. So let's have a look at the skill 2, passive skill right here. At the start of the battle, she will have the ability to increase damage at strong element to electric code enemies. So again, she gets boost. She is a fire, so she's naturally weak against, strong against wind, but she also strong against electric. So she's gonna get the projectile attachment damage and projectile explosion damage increase right here. Alright, so after 120 normal attacks, she will have these attachable projectiles, basically launches attachable projectiles that attach to hit the locations. Okay, so when entering full burst, the projectiles will explode. Now it's going to do 88%, and max ammo capacity right here is 1 round, right? That means 1 whole round until she reloads. Ideally, I'm guessing if you want to, you preferably want her to have a max ammo capacity so that this can last longer. But you can see on the burst skill right here, right? When used in stage 3, which is burst 3, high mobility close range combat weapon, it's going to do a lot of damage. 2808% of final attack as additional damage. That is a lot. Alright, for context, this is going to be incomparable with Cinderella to a certain extent, but I guess Cinderella still does more. But Cinderella's one is going to be random, alright? She does 1003, but attack sequentially 10 times, whereas Rapi is going to do 2800%, but only affects the enemy nearest to the crosshair. So there's still going to be a situation where if you are fighting a lot of enemies on the map, I don't think it's as good because you are not, I guess you can sort of control it to a certain extent, but it's still better when you're fighting a single bosses. Alright, affect self, explosion radius increase, projectile attachment damage increase right here for 10 seconds, and skill 2, attachable projectile trigger count condition decreased by 60 times for 10 seconds. Pretty cool. She seems like she's going to do a lot of damage, and I feel like she is going to be much more of a single target focus you know, character that's like maybe like a boss killer in a way, right? She deals with bosses. She doesn't seem to be an AoE character, but maybe her skill 2 is enough, depending on how much this attachment damage and explosion damage is, because it seems like she's going to be very, very strong right there. Now, in most cases, if you're wondering, I believe you still want to use her as a burst 3, alright? And for most players, this is going to open up a lot of possibilities in terms of building her in a fire team. Alright, if you're trying to build a fire team, you can probably do Alice, Rapi, you know, if you have Asuka as well, there's Modernia as well, so there's quite a lot of cool characters overall. But in a lot of cases and a lot of situations, you still want Litter to pair with her in a certain extent, alright? She doesn't really do a pierce, so D Killer Wife doesn't seem to be like a must, and there's no HP scaling as well, so Roach is not really going to be that good with her. So I'm guessing for Burst 1, it's still going to be Litter Crown if you're getting for the best value out of the bank. Maybe can go with... I have a feeling that, what's the name? Blanc and Noir is going to be quite good as well because it's going to increase her max ammo capacity, but that's going to be something that we'll have to test out if she needs that or not, depending on your overload gear stats as a whole. But overall, I do highly suggest you guys to pull for her because she seems to be a worthwhile investment in terms of her value. She can do 2 things. She can be used in 2 different towers. She can also be good against 2 elements. So there's just no reason for you to not view her as a double unit almost. It seems like your investment is going to be very, very worth it, right? Especially if you're trying to play this game and you're trying to build a character, trying to get the skill to 10-10-10. It's quite expensive. So this is going to help you, especially a lot of new players who are looking to get into Nikke. I think she's a very, very good option overall. Alright, so with that being said, that's pretty much it for this particular video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. Keep in mind, she's not coming yet this week. She's coming on 1st of January. Her banner will be available then. As always, have a nice day. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.